Okay, I think that this is a nice list of what can be expected from teachers. I also would like to refer again to the resource that we were sharing yesterday about the digital competence for educators. I see now that I made a mistake here. It should be DICOM for educators. Yeah, so it's the framework of digital competences for educators, where there is, you remember that there was one aspect really focusing on assessment, and so they also explain that in more detail. What is needed as new digital skills that teachers should possess, and I just copied a few from that framework here. You need to be able to define strategies with regards to assessment. So you need to be able to use the proper technologies, digital technologies, for both formative and summative assessment, and you should be able to do that in a variety of ways. So it's not just one tool, but you can use a variety of tools. It's not just one approach, not just one method. You can use a variety of a diversity, as mentioned here, of different tools and approaches suitable for the different forms of assessment. So that's one skill that as a teacher you need to have, being able to know what the tools are available, how you could apply these tools in different ways of assessment, and also make it attractive to the students by using a variety of different of these tools. Another type of competence that is related to assessment is that you need to be able to interpret the results, like we already said, and to build evidence on the results that students have achieved, and that you can analyze these results, and that you can also synthesize what are lessons learned from this type of assessment, from the tools that we have been using. Also, the behavior of your student group, your class, how did they perform in general, and how can I build on these outcomes now? How can I improve my teaching and learning based on the analysis of the results that I got? And so we need to be able to interpret what comes out of these digital tools, especially. Yeah. Okay, and surprising or not, there is also a link to feedback. So we need to be able to to master the tools and the ways that we could communicate feedback with the students in an online and a digital environment. So we need to be able to adapt our ways of teaching so that students can understand that we are changing roles from a sage on the stage to a guide on the side, so that we are not only lecturing, but that we are also engaging with the students, interacting with the students, discussing with the students, giving feedback and motivation to the students, and how you do that with the digital tools, with the digital technologies. Okay. So I invite you to go a bit more in detail. That there is a lot of activities that you could do as a teacher to implement these different competence aspects of being able to design proper assessment and deliver proper feedback to the students. Okay. Yeah, and then maybe in the same framework, which is also nice, is that you can grow as a teacher in these digital competences. You should not say, oh, I should be an expert in all these aspects of what is mentioned here. You can be starting from a newcomer in well, I don't know how much experience you already have as a teacher, but I can easily understand that when you are a newcomer in the academic staff, that you also have to learn how to proper assess and give feedback to the students. And it's a bit the same as Bloom's taxonomy. It's growing in competence means that you're going from a newcomer's level to an expert level, and even higher, a leader and a pioneer. And I think that also in the resource by the digital competence framework, you can find ways how to improve your skills from a newcomer to an explorer, to an integrator, to an expert, to a leader in the field, and even to a pioneer. And pioneering means that you're innovating with digital tools, the whole assessment culture in your university. Okay. I invite you to go that way and to try to first of all identify where you are on this scale. Do you feel like already exploring and integrating all kinds of digital tools in assessment approaches? Maybe you feel already like an expert, but then next levels could still be to become a leader in the university, the reference person in the university for all kinds of digital assessments. And maybe you can be an innovator, a world expert in the field, let's say. Okay. Good. I'm about to finish this presentation here. I will skip these questions for thought. I will leave them in the slides. Some of them we already addressed during this session. Some others might still need a bit of discussion, and I leave it up to you to think and reflect on these questions based on what you've heard today, or based on your own experience. What I would like to finish with is a small report that has been written again by JISC, and it talks about what is the future of assessment. 5 principles, 5 targets for 2025. By the way, all these resources, or some of these resources, are also available in the website of the course, and especially this one is mentioned there, so you can easily download it from there. And these 5 trends or 5 principles that they say about assessment, if we talk about assessment in the future, we have to keep in mind it should be authentic assessment, it should be accessible assessment, appropriately automated if possible, continuous assessment, and secure assessment. Maybe just quickly a few words about these 5 principles. Authentic means that it should be related to things that students can recognize. It should be, assessment should as much as possible be as realistic as possible. It should be contextualized. It should be motivating. I talked about real world problems, things that are close to the heart of the student, things that they can connect to, that they see in society, things that they find interesting to them. Okay, so authentic as possible is important. It should be accessible assessment. When we talk about, for instance, online assessment, we need to realize that in situations, not all students have the proper equipment, maybe don't have a good internet connection, maybe they are physically challenged students and need extra tools. We also have in our university a whole program for students with all sorts of disabilities, so that we can allow them to be assessed on the content of what they are learning, and not so much on what they can do as a person. So I think that's important to know. When we talk about assessment, we need to realize that accessibility is a very important issue here, and especially when we go to an online environment, we have to take that into account. appropriately automated. In an online world, it's very easy to think, oh, now we do everything on the computer. Yes, if possible and if appropriate, no problem. But sometimes we also need to think about how we could, yeah, include the human touch to the exam itself, and certainly to the feedback we are giving to the students. Sometimes it's appropriate to use computer feedback with multiple choice questions. That's very easily done, but that not necessarily helps the student forward in the learning journey. So we need to think about the human touch there to be included. Continuous assessment, it has to do with the fact that formative assessment is an integral part of your assessment strategy. Yes, we have to continuously assess what students are doing in their learning progress. Yes. But it's also going beyond the learning in the university, the learning in the course. We also need to think about, for instance, I mentioned portfolios, how that could help the students to further develop the skills even when they have graduated. So it should go beyond the own course, even beyond the curriculum, even beyond the what students are doing in the universities. Yeah, lifelong learning comes in the picture here as well. And then secure. I think that we already emphasized that students should feel safe when they are assessed, safe in all aspects of the word. So it should be secure, yes, in the sense that we are assessing the right student with the right exam at the right time and with the right questions and so on. But at the same time, and this is not so much mentioned here on the screen, on the slide, but it includes that it's a safe environment where students feel safe enough, where they can show their utmost best what they have learned in the course. And I think that this is the end, yeah, of my presentation here.